Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Sotah. We are up to Perek Gimel Mishnah Zayin. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'elu Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Ranbai, Eliyahu ben Burcha, Israelov, Chana ben Miriam, Sason ben Ryan, Yehoshua ben Shifra, Menuchatam beGan Eden, Amen. And L'Avdir ben Chaim leChaim v'Derefua Shelemav, Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, Betor Shah Cholei Israel. The last Mishnah ended by teaching that when a Sotah's mincha is brought for the wife of a Kohen, the remainder, what remains after removal of the komets, is burned on the pile of ashes in the courtyard. This Mishnah contrasts the mincha of a Kohen's wife to a mincha of a Yisrael's wife. Bat Yisrael shenised leKohen minchata nisrafet. When the daughter of Israel who is married to a Kohen brings a mincha, whether a Sotah's mincha or not, the remainder of a mincha is burned on the pile of ashes. Here we learn that not only is the mincha kenaot of a Kohen's wife burned on the pile of ashes, but so is any other mincha of a Kohen's wife. A husband is considered the partial owner of his wife's mincha offerings, even if she is not a Sotah, even if she is the one who decided to bring the offering. As Tosfot say on page 23 in Masechet Sotah. Therefore, if the husband is a Kohen, the remainder must be burned on the pile of ashes, like we explained in the previous Mishnah. But when the daughter of a Kohen who is married to Israel brings a mincha, the remainder of her mincha is eaten by the Kohanim, as is the case with all mincha offerings brought by non-Kohanim. Only the mincha of a Kohen is burned in its entirety on the altar. The mincha of all of the people, including a Kohen's daughter, is treated in the standard way. The kometz is removed and burned on the altar, and what remains is eaten by the Kohanim. If a Kohen's daughter is married to a Kohen, the law is the same as where a Yisrael's daughter is married to a Kohen. The kometz is removed and the remainder is burned on the pile of ashes, as the Gemara says on page 23a and b in Masechet Sotah. Although the first part of this Mishnah said that this is done in the case of a Yisrael's daughter is married to a Kohen, the same applies where a Kohen's daughter is married to a Kohen. Now, starting with the previous law, the Mishnah lists some halachic differences between a Kohen and a Kohen's daughter. Ma ben Kohen leChohenet, what differences are there between a Kohen and a Kohen's daughter? Minchat Kohen nechelet, the remainder of a mincha of a Kohen's daughter is eaten by the Kohanim. Minchat Kohen ena nechelet, but a mincha of a Kohen is not eaten at all, rather all of it is burned on the altar. Kohenet mitchalelet, a Kohen's daughter, and certainly the daughter of Israel, who cohabited with a man who was forbidden to her. For example, a married woman cohabited with a man other than her husband, a single woman cohabited with a close relative or with a mamzer, or a divorcee cohabited with a Kohen. The Kohen's daughter in this case becomes desecrated, meaning she loses the privileges associated with the kehuna, meaning she may not eat tirumah, she may not marry a Kohen. Although the members of a Kohen's family are usually allowed to eat tirumah, his daughter loses that right if she cohabited with a forbidden man. The Kohen en mitchalel, but a Kohen who cohabited with a woman who was forbidden to him, like a divorcee, a zonah, or a chalala, does not become desecrated from the kehuna. He may continue to eat tirumah and serve in the temple. However, if the Kohen is married to a forbidden woman, he is rabbinically prohibited to serve in the temple for as long as the marriage lasts. Kohenet mitame'a lemetim, a Kohen's daughter may become tameh from a corpse. Then Kohen mitameh lemetim, but a Kohen may not become tameh from a corpse. The verse in Vayikra chapter 21 verse 1 that forbids the Kohen to become tameh from a corpse states the sons of Aaron, which excludes daughters. Kohen ochel bekoche kodashim, a Kohen may eat from the holiest offerings. Then Kohen ochelet bekoche kodashim, but a Kohen's daughter may not eat from the holiest offerings. There are two types of offerings: kodashim kalim, offerings of lesser holiness, which include the shelamim, todah, bechor, and pesach, and koche kodashim, most holy offerings, which include the chatat, asham, and mincha. The meat of kodashim kalim may be eaten by anyone, but the meat and flour of koche kodashim may be eaten only by male kohanim. That is in a Mishnah Zayin. Now, having listed several differences between a Kohen and a Kohen's daughter, Mishnah Chet notes some differences between any Jewish man and any Jewish woman. Ma ben ish leisha, what differences are there between a Jewish man and a Jewish woman? Haish porea uforem, a man who is afflicted with sarat lets his hair grow and tears his clothes. Then Aisha porat uforemet, but a woman who is afflicted with sarat does not let her hair grow or tear her clothes. The laws of mitzvah, a person who has the disease of tzarat, apply to both men and women, except for the requirements to wear torn clothes and leave the hair uncut, which are limited to men, and these exceptions are derived from Vayikra chapter 13, verse 45. Aish madir et beno benazir, a man can vow that his son, when he is still a minor, should be a nazir. Then Aisha maderet et benah benazir, but a woman cannot vow that her son should be a nazir. If a father says to his younger son under the age of 13, you are hereby a nazir, or if he declares so-and-so, my son is hereby a nazir, the son must observe all the laws of nazirut. He may not consume wine or anything that comes from a grape, cut his hair, or become tameh from a corpse. However, if a woman vows that her son should be a nazir, the vow has no effect, as it says in Masechet Nazir, chapter 4, Mishnah 6. Haish megaleach al nizirut aviv, a man who is a nazir may shave, meaning he may buy his nizirut offerings, which are offered on the day that he ends his nizirut, and shaves his head, using money that was set aside for his deceased father's nizirut offerings. Then Aisha megalachat al nizirut avia, but a woman who was a nizirah may not shave using money that was set aside for her deceased father's nizirut offerings. When a nazir completes his term of nizirut, he must participate in a specific procedure in which he shaves his head and brings certain offerings. If someone was a nazir and set aside money for his nizirut offerings and then died, leaving a son who was also a nazir, or became a nazir after the father's death, the son may use that money to buy his own nizirut offerings. However, only a son has this right. A daughter, even if she is her father's heir, may not use the money for nizirut offerings. It says in Masechet Nazir, chapter 4, Mishnah 7. Haish mocher et bito, a man can sell his minor daughter as a servant. Then Aisha mocheret et bita, but a woman cannot sell her daughter as a servant. The Torah in Sefer Shemot, chapter 21, verse 7 implies that only a father has the right to sell his daughter as a servant when she is a ketana, but a mother has no such right. Haish mekadesh et bito, a man can marry off his daughter before she reaches adulthood. Then Aisha mekadesh et bita, but a woman cannot marry off her daughter. A man marries a woman by giving her an object of monetary value, such as a ring, for the purpose of marriage. If the bride is a ketana or na'ara, the groom must give the object to the father, whose acceptance of it makes the kiddushin go into effect, like we learn in Sefer Dvarim, chapter 22, verse 16. The same verse implies that only a father has this right and not a mother. Haish niskal arom, a man who must be stoned by the court is stoned unclothed. Then Aisha niskeret aruma, but a woman is not stoned unclothed. These laws are inferred from Vayikra, chapter 24, verse 14. Haish nitled, the body of a man is hanged after he is stoned. Then Aisha nitled, but the body of a woman is not hanged. The source for these laws is Dvarim, chapter 21, verse 22. Haish nimkar bignevato, a man who's stolen cannot pay back, is sold into slavery for his stealing. Then Aisha nimkeret bignevata, but a woman who's stolen cannot pay back is not sold into slavery for his stealing. The payment for a thief is used to compensate the victim of the theft. Right, the payment for the thief is used to compensate the victim of the theft. This is in Shemot, chapter 22, verse 2. The verse implies that only a man is sold and not a woman. And that is the end of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.